In the headlines, Plateau Local Council declares 24-hour curfew over terror attacks. Labour optimistic as fuel subsidy removal talks with federal government resumes Monday. Raw markets spring up in Abuja, sellers lament poor patronage. On the foreign scene, Mali votes in constitutional referendum to pave way for elections. Hello and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I am Ayuba Ila. Thanks for joining. And now the details. Authorities of the Mangu local government area of Plateau State on Sunday evening declared a 24-hour curfew in the council area. In a statement on Sunday, the chairman of the Interim Management Committee of the local council, Marcus Artu, said that a 24-hour curfew has been declared in the Mangu local government area. The declaration of the curfew followed a fresh invasion of some communities in the area by terrorists. Although the exact casualty figure could not be verified as of the time of filing this report, the terrorists were reported to have invaded about 4 communities in the local council, including Mangu town, and killed several residents, while several houses were also burnt. The Director of Press and Public Affairs in the Government House, Gyang Bere, when contacted, said that the declaration of the curfew by the local government chairman was done with the consent of Governor Caleb Mutfwang. The spokesman for the Plateau State Police Command, Alabo Alfred, could not be reached for comment on the development. Residents of Dorai village in Zaria local government area of Kaduna State have been thrown into mourning following bandits' attack on a Fulani leader, Shuaibu Muhammad, who the bandits shot to death with his 4 children. The incident happened on Saturday night when the resident had retired to bed. The wife of the deceased, Halima Shuaibu, told journalists that bandits dragged Ardo out of his bedroom and shot him on his head twice, leading to his instant death. Another survivor of the attack, Abdurrahman Shuaibu, said that the bandits shot 2 other people on their way out of the village. Police Public Relations Officer in Kaduna State, Muhammad Jalige, said he's yet to get the details of the incident from the DPO Zaria City as at the time of filing this report.
I was indoors with my family when I heard a gunshot, thinking it was security operatives. I later realized that it was kidnappers. I ran to my father's room and already he has been shot. They went from one room to the other and shot another person who happens to be my family member. About 5 of them came to invade us. They were fully armed with guns. They set ablaze over 200 cows. We are 5 in numbers, from the same father and mother. This is actually an unfortunate incident that have happened to us. May God expose those that have carried out this cruel act. When I heard the unfortunate news, I had to call so many leaders to come so that we can rescue people. Many people have been hospitalized and receiving treatment, and I'm appealing to the families of those that have been affected to take it as an act of God, adding that the perpetrators must be brought to face the full wrath of the law. He came back at 10 p.m. in the night. I saw them. There were 5 in numbers. When they shot the first person in the room, I was on my knees begging them to kill me. I allowed the rest to escape because I am old. And they kept shooting and shot my relatives.
The chief imam of Uso community, Ibrahim Bodunde Oyinlade, who was abducted by gunmen on his farm on Saturday afternoon, has regained his freedom. The public relations officer of Ondo State Police Command, SP Fumilayo Odulami Omisaya, confirmed this to Channels Television on Monday morning. She revealed that the victim was released late Sunday evening, but couldn't say if any ransom was paid to the abductors before the cleric was released. The chief imam was abducted early on Saturday by some yet to be unidentified gunmen in our local government area of Ondo State. The 67-year-old Islamic cleric was reportedly taken from his farm at Asolo camp at about 3 p.m. According to a family source, the kidnappers had contacted the family demanding that ransom be paid for his release. Ahead of the meeting between the federal government and the organized labor shelters to hold today, the Nigeria Labour Congress has said that the government must meet its demand to cushion the effects of the fuel subsidy removal. The union threatened that it would not hesitate to call out workers for industrial action, adding that it only suspended its planned strike. The Vice President NLC Adewale Adeyanju, who said a lot of things had been presented by the labor unions, expressed optimism that the meeting will be fruitful and insisted that the NLC will not want the government to behave funny. According to Labour, the high cost of fuel was inflicting unbearable hardship on Nigerians, adding that the government must act fast with respect to providing palliatives. The federal government and labor unions met on June 5, 2023, with a resolution to reconvene on June 19 to agree on the implementation framework of the resolutions reached. Now, car wash business is providing employment opportunities for many people in Katsina State. However, recent fuel subsidy removal has significantly impacted on the industry, leaving many car wash owners struggling to keep their businesses afloat. Jamil Mabai spoke to car wash owners and workers about the impact of these developments.
One of the busiest car wash spots in Katsina is now experiencing low patronage. Businesses are suffering as fuel subsidy is removed. With less profit, the cost of fuel has become a burden too heavy to carry.
When there is work, I can buy 3,000 naira petrol. But now, if I am to fill my tanks, I buy 6,000 naira petrol.
For 3 decades, Abubakar Chuma has been running his car wash business successfully until now. With unstable electricity, he is forced to lean on costly petrol.
Before, 1,500 naira petrol is enough for us. Now we buy petrol of 3,000 naira plus the work has reduced. People have parked their cars due to fuel subsidy removal.
Customers no longer patronize them, and this has led to a decrease in revenue for these businesses, putting them in a difficult position.
From washing 30 cars to 10 cars, some wash 40 cars before, now they wash 5 cars. You see, the work has reduced.
The car wash business in Katsina has been booming in recent years, creating job opportunities for many young people in the state. This has had a negative impact on the youth in the state who rely on car wash business for employment.
In Katsina, most car wash have minimum of 2 and maximum of 20 employees. This business helps youth from engaging in drug abuse. It provides them with something to occupy their time, and they don't have time to misbehave.
Jamil Mobai, Trust TV News, Katsina.
Abuja residents have expressed displeasure over hiked prices of sacrificial rams ahead of the Eid al-Kabir celebration. Trust TV Kabir Lawal reports that ram markets are springing up, but sellers say that they are expecting buyers to come. The report.
Sacrificial rams are most important as Salah celebration fast approaches, with ram markets springing up in Abuja. However, ram sellers in the Federal Capital Territory explained that the rise in prices of rams can be attributed to the fuel subsidy removal, which has pushed transport fares up.
Akwai bambanci tsakanin shekara ta bara da ta wuce da wadda muke ciki.
Previously, the prices of rams are very affordable, but now moving the rams to this destination is a big problem. We try as much as possible to reduce the price to enable people to buy from us because of the situation of the country. The government has done well on the fuel subsidy removal, and we pray that the removal of the fuel subsidy will make things to be cheap and also transport fares standardized.
A wannan hali da ake ciki akwai ƙarin kuɗin mai da aka samu.
We used to transport the rams at the rate of 100,000 naira, but now we spend close to 200,000 naira or more. The removal of the fuel subsidy has made the price to be more expensive than the previous one. We are calling on the government to do the needful to subsidize the transport fare to enable us bring more to the Federal Capital Territory. Some of the sellers added that the amount of money they used to transport the rams has more than doubled the normal price.
The transportation is very, 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 very expensive. And the way we are feeding them is also, that can also cause the price of ram to go high.
Buyers also lamented that the prices of sacrificial rams have skyrocketed, though their incomes remain the same, calling on the government to subsidize transportation to further cushion the hardship being faced by the people.
The sacrifice that you make within just once in a year, you'll be looking for a ram of 130. I don't buy that kind of idea. I'm calling on Muslim people. When you go to market, when you see a good ram, when you see a very big ram, that maybe is good for sacrifice. In your own mind, you know something that is good. In your own mind, if you are going to market to buy a shoe, to buy a wristwatch, or to buy a phone, you always go for a good something. When you go to the market to buy a ram, please try and buy something very good.
We, the masses, will still contribute to this fake inflationary pricing or high skyrocket pricing of things. Even though before removal of the subsidy, this happened. It was within us before the government, but the government needs to give those people some sort of palliative to cushion down the cost of transportation. If you see across the road there, if per ram from this our customer here, per ram from Jigawa down here is 10,000.
This is Kubo, livestock market in the Federal Capital Territory, where prices of rams has really skyrocketed. And most residents have complained that the removal of fuel subsidy has contributed to the high price of rams in the market. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria has cautioned Nigerian pilgrims to avoid the consumption of bushmeat, hides, popularly known as pomo, smoked meat, and others in view of the outbreak of anthrax disease in the West African sub-region. The NACON Commissioner in charge of health, Dr. Saidu Ahmad Dumbulwa, said that the caution was necessary in view of the trans-border trade between Ghana, Togo, and Burkina Faso that had so far confirmed the outbreak of anthrax disease in some parts of their respective territories and Nigeria. He said that NACON swiftly issued the advisory to pilgrims for fear of contact with Muslim brothers and sisters from those countries who would be taking part in this year's Hajj exercise in Saudi Arabia, who though may not necessarily be infected by the diseases, but for precautionary measures. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up shortly, we take you to a Plateau community where marriage is cheap. Details and more after the break. That's great. Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the
Or really, if you look at England's squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back. This is the news update on Trust TV. Here's a look at the top stories. Plateau Local Council declares 24-hour curfew over terror attacks. Labour optimistic as fuel subsidy removal talks with federal government resumes Monday. Now, Fatima Suleiman, the Sokoto student who lost her leg to a reckless driver a few hours after completing senior secondary school examination last year, is managing to be back on her feet after the incident. Awal Imam visits Fatima at her family home located at Wiwa in Wamako local government area of Sokoto State. Fatima, who is now 17 years old, shares her experience after the accident.
Fatima Suleiman, the Sokoto student who lost her leg to a reckless driving by another student, spoke to Trust TV for the first time on how she has been managing her life after the unfortunate accident that occurred sometimes last year. Our reporter who visited Fatima at their Gwiwa Eka residence met her walking back home after escorting her female friend with the support of crutches. The smiling Fatima said it was not easy adapting to her new life.
I've been managing my life ever since I had the accident. So, like, mingling with friends hasn't been easy. Everything is new to me. So I'm still trying to adapt to the new changes.
She also lamented over how she became subject of public attention, which she said was troubling her.
Mostly when I go out in public, like and there was a situation where I saw some group of people coming at me.
Her mother also spoke on how they were helping her to overcome her trauma.
We thank God. I give thanks to Almighty Allah for the way she accepts her fate. But being her still a small girl, sometimes used to have some challenges. She used to feel loneliness, so I appreciate the way her friends used to carry her along. So that is the only thing that normally keep her going. And with the courage we used to give her, saying that if her leg is due for the protest, she will be fine. So we used to give her courage. Sometimes if she's lonely, she'll be thinking. But as a mother, I always make sure she's not lonely.
Despite her present condition, Fatima still nurtures the ambition of following the footsteps of her father, who is a medical doctor, insisting that her condition will not deter her from actualizing her ambition.
Always been my future ambition, and I want to follow my dad's footsteps. But always been my dream to be a medical doctor.
Her case is still in the court, although the suspect had been released on bail. Abubakar Awal Imam reporting for Trust TV.
Members of Afizere ethnic group in Plateau State believe that marriage expenses in their tradition are less expensive compared to other cultures in the country. Ado Musa reports that the ethnic group encourages young men to marry women from their tribe. Ado Musa reports.
Marital rights for the Afizere ethnic group are simple that anyone can afford. However, as the society is changing, list of items required as gift to would-be wife is also changing in the community. Azima Gaji is the chairman of Language Institute Izere, and he explains what it takes to marry from his ethnic group.
You only bring maybe, they say, carton or 2 cartons of sweet, 2 cartons of biscuit, and you now bring goats. Because you have to bring goats, there is what we call iteku chair. That is the blessings of the uncles.
Magaji said, with 300,000 naira or less, Esuto can get a wife in Afizere ethnic group, adding that the said amount can take all the marital expenses.
If you are Afizere, averagely, no matter how high the status is, it may be 300 to 400,000. It will be okay for you. Yes. But it may be less. Sometimes the parents of the girl may decide, depending on the relationship you have with the parents.
Anna Amos, who is married for the past decade, explained what her husband spent before marrying her.
Like my own time, my husband did not take anything apart from 15,000 naira. Nothing was, nothing more, nothing less. Because my parents believe that he has also become a son in the family. And it is a relationship that has been built. Because if it is a relationship that has been built, there's nothing that you say, okay, bring this, bring that, no.
Peter Azi, a member of the group who intends to marry from among the Afizere ethnic group, said simple marital rights of the ethnic group motivated him to choose a woman from the tribe.
For me, as a very agile youth that is yet to get married, I'm very proud to tell you today that Izere culture in regard to marriage is very, very fair to Izere youth. For me today, I stand bold to tell you that I'm intent to marry Izere lady.
According to the group, though the advent of Christianity and Islam has affected their marital rights, certain customs are still being practiced by many living in the villages. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
On the foreign scene, votes are being counted in Mali from a referendum on changing the constitution that the military rulers and regional powers have said will pave the way to elections and a return to civilian rule. The military government, which seized power in coup in 2020 and 2021, promised to hold the plebiscite as part of a transition to democracy under pressure from the Economic Community of West African States. Voting began on Sunday and provisional results are expected within 72 hours. Presidential elections are scheduled for February 2024. Voter turnout was projected to be low in the country of 21 million due to the armed conflict, but it will be seen as an indicator of the military administration's ability to restore stability and generate popular enthusiasm for its agenda. And in sports news, Nigeria's senior male national team, the Super Eagles, secure qualification for 2023 Africa Cup of Nations, defeating Leon Stars of Sierra Leone by 3-2 at the Samuel Doe Sports Complex in Liberia. A first-half brace scored by striker Victor Osimhen put the Eagles 2 goals ahead as at the 32nd minute. Now, Leon Stars of Sierra Leone pulled one back before half-time and equalized with less than 10 minutes left to play. Kelechi Iheanacho scored the winner for the Eagles in extra time. Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim spoke to football fans in Kano after the match and files in this report.
At the Samuel Doe Sports Complex in Pennsville, Monrovia, the Super Eagles of Nigeria defeat Lone Stars of Sierra Leone by 3-2. This result secures Nigeria a place at the next Africa Cup of Nations tournament scheduled to hold in Cote d'Ivoire. Back home in Nigeria, eager fans watch with keen interest. Despite supporting the team that won, some were forced to stay at the edge of their seats for most of the encounter.
It's not a good record for you to somebody 2-1 or 2-0. Then they were trying to come and equalize, and at last they equalized. It's a very sad result, but at last everything was okay.
Yeah, it's difficult because the way we are expecting, when we have high expectation, at the end we see disappointment from the players. So, but even the coach, we don't have coach. Because we are watching the coach is supposed to be a coach. When you make a substitute, we see changes. But the coach is there. We use home base at least. Because the player they are using now, they already make money. They have the money. They don't play with their heart as we expect from them. So we expect to see them fight, do or die affairs.
Nigeria qualified leading Group A with 12 points and 1 game left against Sao Tome and Principe, who suffered a record 10-0 defeat to the Super Eagles. The result stirred up mixed reaction from fans who now look towards the current Super Eagles team to bring African Cup of Nations glory back to the country.
I feel like they will be able to win.
because we need it. Since 2013, I think, when Stephen Keshi was coaching the Super Eagles, Nigeria have not won the match, the tournament, I mean. So this time could be ours.
No. 100% no. Let's not deceive ourselves. Football is a team game. When you have 2 or 3 people playing with a passion and the rest are not playing with passion, definitely you won't get the result desired from other 11, 23-man team. They play with passion.
The last round of matches in the AFCON 2023 qualification series holds 4th to 12th September 2023. Abdulaziz Ibrahim reporting for Trust TV.
And that's a wrap on the news update. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also on our YouTube live stream. I am Ayuba Ila. Thanks for watching.